Are you using OBS?
Yeah.
Yeah, OBS is weird like that.
It's
So
the only thing that works at this point. Like, I haven't found a better recording software, so...
Well, OBS is pretty good. It's just like
Finicky.
the good stuff is always complicated. So you always gotta like either figure it out yourself, which takes like an hour just to do simple stuff, or you can watch a tutorial, which also probably takes about an hour.
So what are we doing for our first episode of the Poopy Podcast, or whatever Jellybean was calling it?
The Poopcast.
Are we
We're
ever
gonna be
gonna, like,
reading we're gonna be reading the Jeff the Killer reboot.
Is that really what we're gonna call it?
No.
The Poopy Cast? No, we don't have to call it the Poopy Cast.
It has to be called the Morecast.
We could call it, if we all can agree on a name for the podcast, then we can call it that. But as of right now,
Five
I'm
dumbasses
going.
talking.
No, because there's
Five
gonna be
dumbass.
more than 5
Wait,
dumbasses
wait,
at a time.
6
The
dumbasses
Dumbass
talking.
Cast.
The Dumbass Cast. I like the Dumbass Cast.
I like the Dumbasscast.
All right,
it out.
we are the Dumbass
Actually,
Cast.
no.
Welcome to the
Recording at
Dumbasscast, everyone.
11:33 in the night.
For you guys.
All right, are we ready to start this delicious, scrumptious story?
Go right ahead.
Feel
We're
free.
never going to be ready, but
I'm gonna wait. Hold on, I gotta turn y'all up because y'all are quiet AF.
Is that why you keep talking over everybody? Because we're quiet?
It might be. Yeah, cause YouTube is really loud for some reason. So I always keep my microphone down. But now when I talk to you guys, y'all are quiet. So I gotta turn it up. Alright, sounds alright. Alex, speak for me, Daddy.
Oh. Okay,
Oh.
then.
I just got to test to make sure my microphone is working. Or my headphones. Sorry.
Speak,
Oh
speak.
shit, yeah, it's a sex bot. Fuck.
I should probably turn up my
Words.
volume too.
Bean, are these words appropriate for you?
Ooga booga.
Ooga,
Ooga
ooga. FNAF is 6 years. Wow.
Wonder how old the Jeff the Killer creepypasta is. I'm gonna look it up.
Like 12 years old at this point.
Probably.
That's
How old is the Jeff the Killer creepypasta? It is 13 years old.
I was
as old as
close.
Ethan.
It's as old as me.
You were. I guess it was
podcast going right
made
now?
in 2007.
Are we
Holy
doing
shit, it's
things
as old as me.
Yeah. What? There's no way.
I am 13.
Are you? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well,
you're
all
as
right
old
then.
as one of the most biggest internet sensations.
Me.
You are one of the biggest internet sensations.
I know. No one's noticed yet.
We should at some
Wait,
point.
Alex,
What was that, Alex?
Yeah,
We should
sorry.
discuss the maggot fanfiction at one point.
All right. Well, I guess we're reading the maggot fanfiction.
No, we're not. No, we're not. Not this. No.
I'm typing it in right now.
No,
Maggot
I'm
chapter
doing
1,
that-
a worm
no,
fanfic.
No,
Hello?
no, Jelly
I have
Bean,
my
you are not.
focus on the Jeff the Killer reboot.
All right. Are we gonna read the Jeff the Killer reboot then?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
You
Let's
guys
do
All right.
are like mentally prepared to read that shit.
All right. I will bookmark it, so we will read it at a later date.
Bookmark it as oh fuck.
Yes.
don't
It's my
know if
#1
that's-
bookmark, so my parents can see it.
Oh.
All right.
That's just delightful.
We ready to start Dream Team?
Yeah.
Fish.
I'm actually gonna go get something to drink. I'll be right back. Y'all occupy yourselves. And then we'll start. I swear. We'll start.
I have a feeling this isn't going. I mean, it's going.
Is this the fanfic?
I gotta mute myself.
Okay. This is the actual story. I recommend not looking at it if you are, like, sensitive to bugs going in things.
Oh.
That's what... It's by Blowfly Girl, so it's been called the Blowfly fanfiction. It's awful.
Then why are we gonna read it?
Because it'd be funny.
I really hope it hasn't aged well,
Okay.
to be honest.
I'm
We're
gonna.
going to read that. I'm not going to be there for that podcast.
Is it actually recording right now?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
okay,
Alex-
we're
we're
live.
actually recording right now.
At
Okay.
this
Yeah.
point, Alex is probably shadow
Just wanted to make
recording
sure.
everything we do to catch all the funny
Are we
moments.
gonna do like any
I
intro thing? Or
am-
like,
I-
hey
no.
everybody.
Not
Or
right
are we
now.
just gonna?
We can
There's-
record one later once we decide.
There's a thing like shadow play or whatever that like records in the background.
No, I don't
But
have that.
exactly.
I physically pressed the record button.
Why is Alex making no sound?
Huh?
What's
Oh
that?
wait, no, that's just me.
Yeah,
like-
that is you.
Never mind. My leg managed to turn down my headphones volume.
How?
How?
The way my headphones cord is, it has the volume thing on the cord, and the perfect place it is right next to my leg. So if I drop it or anything, it could change.
Oh.
How is Alex the only one you couldn't hear?
No, then I couldn't hear Shady, and I noticed, yeah, no, it's not just Alex.
All right.
My
We ready?
My background spooked me, but yes, we are ready.
Yeah.
All right. Jeff the Killer rebooted. The day Jeffrey Woods and his family arrived at their new home, the sky was overcast and the weather was muggy. The gray skies seemed to punctuate his mood. Jeff was not thrilled to be here. Their new home was beautiful, though, a true example of his father's newfound success. But still, it wasn't the home he'd known. A week after they'd settled in, Jeff and Liu woke up early. The sky was a crisp and gorgeous blue, and although the Louisiana heat was playing its cruel, unusual tricks, the brothers decided that a morning bike ride to explore the area would be just the right ticket to combat the slight pangs of homesickness that they'd both been experiencing over the last week. I miss home, Liu blurted out as Jeff was smearing salsa on the microwave burrito that would serve as his breakfast.
I thought you were just gonna stop
Me
at
too, Leo.
microwave.
It's a microwave burrito. It's a burrito
gonna-
with a microwave inside of it.
I'm gonna interrupt real quick.
Do it.
Why was the sky muggy? Was it trying to mug them?
Ha ha ha!
Man, you
That's-
are such a
I know.
comedy genius.
No, but seriously, I heard muggy. Did you say that, or was it something else?
No, muggy is an adjective
Oh,
to describe
I didn't hear mucky.
No, muggy, M-U-G-G-Y. It's meant to
That's what I-
describe
What?
like damp and gray and gross.
Oh, okay.
I'm right back.
And
Or I
Yeah.
thought the guy
humid
tried to
and-
fucking mug them.
The sky has a gun. It's called lightning.
Okay, that wasn't a funny bit. I'm sorry.
That's
I
alright.
guess icky is more normally used in its place. Is probably the
Or
one that-
Yes.
I hear muggy a lot actually,
I don't.
or like
Mm.
humid. Or
I do
just-
because I read my big boy books.
I don't read.
I
big
live in the
books.
country, so everything
Ha!
is weird.
I read chapter books.
I
Y'all
play
still
Minecraft.
Stuck on those picture books.
Who needs books when you have Minecraft?
Yeah, just learn everything in Minecraft.
I learned all sorts of nasty words.
Like heck.
And
Hey,
your
whoa,
mom.
this is a public podcast.
Your mom. Funny joke.
This is a Christian podcast.
Here, I can read the Bible right now.
Oh no.
Don't
But
start
let's not
with
go
that.
into the. Let's not go back into the Bible territory.
I'm back.
For cards on the table, for the poor rando that happens upon this podcast, I have a pocket Bible here, like a loaded gun, ready to be released at any moment.
I also have a pocket-sized Bible, but I don't know where it went.
Cause Cherish gave us all pocket Bibles for Christmas.
I have my phone and I can recite "Does is Bruno Mars is gay."
I have
I
the
have a
Book of
book.
Mormon, another testament of Jesus Christ.
I have that downstairs, but my parents are watching stuff right now, so I can't go get it. Anyway.
I don't have
I have
shit.
a
I have
book.
goldfish. I can shove that into my pockets.
Ooh, go.
Do it.
Wait,
Put some
goldfish
pocket.
the alive kind?
Goldfish are
Goldfish-
basically a Bible.
Goldfish crackers. I don't have
Wait, no.
fish.
Goldfish, the ones you can eat, or goldfish
You
the
can eat
cracker
both.
one?
I mean, yeah, theoretically you could eat both.
Just
No, I don't.
gobble,
I don't
gobble.
own fish. I have goldfish crackers.
It's just that, like, it's just a little pop noise as the goldfish goes down your throat.
You are disgusting.
Okay, let's get to.
So,
the,
all right,
like,
anyway,
yeah,
that
like,
stumbled
back to
upon
whistle.
this video. You can see what our minds are like.
Back to the fish
Back to
the,
juice.
Jeffrey.
the whistle slide noise that goes down. Yeah, like. Okay, let's get back to like
All right.
what's his name? Jeff the Killer.
Jeff the Killer.
Jeff the Killer.
His
Let's
name
get
is
back
Jeff.
to Jonathan the murderer.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein.
People named Jeffrey.
Thomas
don't...
Jefferson.
People
Oh.
named Jeffrey. They're good people.
That's who it is now. It's Thomas Jefferson.
Okay, let's
All
just
right.
continue.
Let's
Thomas
go.
Jefferson
I'm going
Woods.
to read now.
Okay, but we need to read now.
Go before
All right.
we lose our shit more.
You simply must be Thomas.
I miss home, Leo blurted out as Jeff was smearing salsa on the microwave burrito that would serve as his breakfast. Me too, Leo. But I guess this is home now. So we just sort of have to make the most of it. I know, but all our friends and stuff are back in New Orleans. What, you lived in New Orleans? Hell yeah, man.
Voodoo
I wanna
City.
go there. Voodoo City!
Ah!
Ah! Ooh.
This is a great podcast.
No.
Can we title this one us just screaming for the next 5 minutes?
Five dumbasses screaming for 5 minutes.
We scream at a non-scary story.
Can we read
And then,
the
and then at the end, in captions, it says podcast.
What,
like
Alex?
in very small letters. Podcast.
We should read a children's book next just to scream.
All right.
Let's
That's
continue
a
with
great
the
idea.
Thomas
Master
Jefferson.
plan. Because we're recording.
Thomas Jefferson.
We
No.
are the children's book.
Thomas Jefferson. let's
Remember? Oh,
go.
what?
Thomas
Oh.
Jefferson. Continue.
Timothy Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson. Jeffus Thomerson.
Jefferson Thomathan Woods.
Oh,
Timothy Jeffrey Woods.
Tyler Ninja Blevins.
The good old days when Thomas was a killer and the Jeffersons.
Guys, we should
Alright.
probably start reading again.
Yeah,
When
let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
someone would actually
Little
do the story.
Okay.
Sorry.
Remember that thing we'd always sneak up and watch the city lights come on? Yeah, Leo responded, sounding down. Yeah, and ZM Video, the owner knew us and would always let us rent R-rated movies without our parents. And he'd always hook us up with a free video game rental if we got a few movies. Yeah, I miss that too. But Leo interrupted. I know we have to make the most out of this, but still, this place just seems so fake, and Mom and Dad still treat us like we aren't even here. Yep, they do. I was sort of hoping the new house would improve their mood, but what can we do? Leo had no answer. Jeff finished his breakfast, and the two boys left the house to mount their bikes, and explore around a bit. Mount their bikes. I'm not.
Crunchity munchy.
Crunchy on them bones.
So is the person setting up the story for Liu's story?
I looked, so for the popular creepypastas, that's where I looked, and there was Jeff the Killer, like, spin-off that was on the perspective of Liu.
Yeah, but there's
Like, as an adult.
yeah, there's a thing where he's all stitched up and he becomes a killer or something. And he's
I
trying
think
to
that's what that
find
one is,
Jeff.
but I don't think this is what that is. It could be, but I don't
No, it's like
think so.
setting it up for that.
Oh, you think so?
With giving more character to Liu than the other one.
Maybe. As it turned out, the subdivision they moved into was rather close to a cluster of stores in a small shopping center. Village Shopping Center was the name of the short row of businesses. Very original. Within these were a Pizza Hut, sweet, a Chinese restaurant, sweet, a tobacco store, sweet, a Sprint store, what? And what Jeff and Leo were most excited about, a video store. So what time period does this take place in? Did it say in the original?
Probably like 2007.
Is the answer. Yes.
Like
Were there really
Microwave
video
noises.
stores in 2007?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Block.
I was
Block
I was like a month old
Mm.
in 2007.
You were a baby.
A little
I was 2
baby.
years old
The
in
whole
I was
2000.
tiny. I would bite your kneecaps. Wait, no, that's
Oh,
the wrong
no.
one. I would bite your ankles.
But your
There you
toes
go.
off.
I couldn't reach your kneecaps.
You couldn't reach your kneecaps yet.
Or it was still tiny.
What if someone picks you up?
Then I would bite them
But
because then they have me close to their face.
yeah, this is really
Well,
like 2010. 2007.
Yeah, alright. Alright. I guess I could see it, maybe. Anyway. We'll have to get Mom or Dad to come down here and open up an account so we can rent movies, Leo mentioned as Jeff flipped a box over to read the description of a horror movie. Shit, you're right,
Yes.
Snap. Feeling a bit of frustration at this thought.
Hey,
He
wait a
knew-
minute. I thought this was a Christian podcast.
Heck, you're right, Jeff snapped.
Thank
Feeling a
you.
bit of frustration at this thought, no problem. He knew getting his parents to actually come down here and set up a membership would take forever, since their usual after-work routine was to go off into separate rooms until they got hungry enough to come out and speak. I don't know if he was referring to the parents or to the brothers. If it's the parents, that's really sad. Jeff glanced over at the girl working behind the
Wait.
counter.
Wait, what?
Yes?
What if it was the brothers?
There's only one.
Then it's not sad, because it would be weird if like two like
It's just-
basically teenage siblings were sleeping in the same room. Like it's a nice house. There's got to be more than 3 bedrooms, or at least 3 bedrooms.
What if they have to sleep on the floor, like Charlie from the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
I would love to sleep on the floor. I could sleep anywhere.
The parents just are like crisscross over each other, one giant bed.
It's a dog pile. It's like penguins.
They're playing tic-tac-toe with their feet.
Yeah. Jeff glanced over. Ugh, let me redo that. Jeff glanced over at the girl working behind the counter. Maybe I can go over there and sweet talk her into giving us accounts, he joked. Yeah, right, Jeff. One look at you and she'll probably ban us, Leo remarked, a smile broad on his face. You doubt me, little man? Doubt you? The guy who's kissed 2 girls and almost touched a boob? Never. Please go on over and lay on all the charm.
Not this
Whatever.
Christian podcast.
This podcast is going great.
He almost touched
We can't have boob touching in this podcast.
Almost.
We gotta shut it down. We gotta shut down the whole operation.
Touch
We're gonna
it.
get
You-
demonetized.
He almost
Yeah,
touched it.
we're gonna get demonetized the
We're gonna
whole
lose all that
penny
money.
we earned in revenue.
And then we're gonna cut the video there and shows here's other videos, and then we didn't continue going back like that
touch the boob.
big thing.
Why are we touching boobs? No, Jeff is touching boobs because he's
No,
such a
We're
cool
gonna get
man.
demonetized.
He's a cool man.
He almost touched a boob.
Oh, you're right. It is almost. It does say almost. All right.
So we're good. We're good. We're safe.
Whatever.
You're
I
fine.
totally could have banged that girl. But her parents came home and... Last time you told me that story, you said her parents were out of town and her sister came home. Nothing else. Her sister came home and nowhere else.
Her sister beat
Anyway. Jeff became flustered, and while in the process of trying to make yet another comeback, the girl behind the register removed all doubt by speaking to the boys herself. Hey, aren't those your bikes? The young woman asked, pointing towards the glass window. Jeff and Liu walked over and saw 3 boys outside. two of which were riding around in circles on the Woods brothers' bikes. What? Are you riding a bike on a bike?
They got them stacked.
I think what they meant to say was they were running over the Woods brothers' bikes.
No, no. They jumped. They got onto.
Oh,
their bikes.
they're playing bicycle leapfrog. I get it.
No, they're on their bikes.
They're on the bikes.
Yeah, the kids stole their bikes.
Oh, that makes sense.
They
Yeah.
could buy your bikes. They're ours now.
Wait, is
Yeah.
it gonna be Randall or whatever his fucking name is? The bully with the deep voice.
It is gonna be Randall.
The
Hold on, let me get
gravelly
there.
shit.
It's literally just Jeff the Killer, but written slightly better. That's it.
And slightly different. They didn't meet Randall till they were at the bus stop going to school.
That is true. They're adding more detail.
They're
They're
expanding
giving
the
3 dimensions
universe.
to these characters. Hey, maybe this time the fight scene with Randall and his 2 bullies at the party won't be an absolute mess and make jack shit for sense.
But let's just
Like the
continue.
The parents are just standing there. Look at those kids having fun. Bang, bang. Ah!
Oh, they're just being boys.
I guess this is how boys play. Oh, kids. Those cyanide pills work, right?
You brought the Xanax, right?
I thought this is a question. But
That was a Xanax, right? All right.
Some Adderall in there?
They would spin them around and then jump off, letting the bikes crash onto the pavement just to stand them up and ride them again. The 2 boys riding the bikes were both slim in build, while a heavier boy stood on the sidewalk, drinking a Red Bull TM trademark R and watching. Jeff and his brother made their way towards the doors of the video store when the fat kid saw them coming. Rude. Jeff couldn't hear what he said to his 2 friends, but he made some sort of gesture while shouting. And the other 2 boys dumped the bikes where they lay and walked towards the sidewalk, directly towards the 2 brothers. Hold on, I'm getting there. Hey yo, those your bikes? One of the boys asked as Jeff and Leo entered the summer heat. Okay. Weird. Yeah, why are you riding them? Leo asked sharply. Hey, we just saw them there, man. Relax. Figured someone just left them out for us, the same boy responded as his 2 friends joined him on either side. Jeff, determined to make a good start here, tried to change the course of his confrontations. Well, they're ours. We just moved here about a week ago. We live here on Fairmont Avenue. A few blocks from here, we were just checking out the neighborhood. Jeff hoped that a civil tone could turn things around, but he could tell by the insolent look on the kid's face that this was a difficult gamble. Good for you moved somewhere, the fat kid remarked. Oh yeah, Troy, the first boy spoke. They moved into that piece of shit house with the gravel driveway. I was wondering who would move into that place.
With the
Isn't this
gravel
crazy?
driveway.
Well, Randy, now we know, the big kid, apparently named Troy, replied.
Why are you making him sound like Baldy?
Hi.
I don't like that.
God.
Jeff,
Oh,
still trying to salvage the conversation, tried peaceful banter one more time. Okay, so you're Troy and you're Randy. Well, I'm Jeff and this is my brother Leo. We just moved here from New Orleans.
Yes, Jeff.
You ain't in New Orleans now, the third boy, who just now decided to speak, remarked.
It's some old bitch, the cane. or
Yeah, and who
something.
the fuck said you could call us by our names? Randy asked, that insolent, privileged smile never leaving his face. Jeff smiled and responded to Randy. Well, I guess I could have called you a fucking asshole, but I figured I would give you the benefit of the doubt.
Oh shit.
In that moment, a flare of rage replaced the smirk that had rested on Randy's face throughout this entire exchange. The other 2 boys, Troy and the still unknown, truly a mystery and enigma of a man, 3rd member of his band, seemed to be momentarily struck silent. Perhaps they weren't used to being stood up to. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that language too adult for you? Jeff asked.
Oh no. Oh
And
no.
you-
Oh heck.
And you, quiet boy. Oh, wait. What?
Oh no. Oh
And you, quiet boy, we know this isn't New Orleans, Jeff stated to the slim kid that had reminded him of his geographical locations. Some of the phrasing in this story is really weird.
It's funny though.
It is.
Big.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on? I zoned out through like half of this. I have no idea what's happening.
It's exactly
one
what it
does.
sounds like.
All right.
Slurpy,
well,
slurpy.
Big Dick
All right,
is back
anyway.
in town.
Maybe now I
Continuing
should
on.
actually focus.
Why do I hear stock music?
That's your end. I don't hear any
Stock
stock music.
music? I don't hear anything.
Are you playing the IKEA game again? Is it the IKEA music?
No.
Is it Sword and Shield?
trying to-
I'm playing.
Weird. Oh, it is from me. It's from my YouTube. Alright, there we go. I fixed it. Alright. Sorry. Alright. Because if this was New Orleans, you three would have already gotten your asses kicked for touching someone else's shit.
Holy
The slim kid looked back and forth at his two friends. However, Randy, clearly the leader, seemed to know what to say. Ayo, Keith, you gonna let this little bitch talk to you like that? Jeff knew this part, and while he wanted quite badly to sock Randy and his pals around, a real concern suddenly invaded his mind. If he and Liu got into a fight on their first week in this new neighborhood, their parents would freak. He could practically hear it now. And while things had been far from perfect in their home, even after the move, there was a peace that had fallen over the family. And Jeff, fighting his urges, decided to do his best to keep it. Jeff looked over at the three very well-dressed, very privileged-looking suburban kids before them. Most likely, they're all white, and dismissed them. You guys are boring. Come on, Liu. Let them continue their playdates without us. Liu laughed, and at that, and followed behind his brother towards the bikes. However, Randy and his little gang of would-be toes. What? It's
What?
Randy and his little gang of would-be toughs.
So
I
that's-
need a second.
I was like, do you mean thugs or?
I thought they had spelled thugs like really long, but they meant toughs, which is such
Please
a weird
excuse
word
us
to
for
put there.
Please excuse us for this quick intermission.
Ba-da-da-bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-da-da-da.
Kahoot music!
Randy and his little gang of would-be toughs would have none of that. They moved to block Jeff and his brother once again. Hey, where you going, pussy? Randy asked, shoving Jeff.
We're
Jeff
gonna get
could tell-
demonetized!
Sorry.
Ah!
Hey, where you going? Lady
Brother?
genitalia? Randy asked, shoving Jeff. Jeff could tell that Shove had no real conviction. Randy was trying to figure him out, seeing where his buttons were. That's what you can find my buttons.
Oh, we.
Oh.
He'd push harder eventually, but Jeff swallowed the slowly building anger within him once more.
I
Oh,
did
I'll
not
swallow
like
some
the
slowly
phrasing
building
of
anger.
that.
Ooh-ah.
That phrasing was really bad.
Yeah, it was.
What did he say? He pushed harder and then swallowed.
He'd push harder eventually, but Jeff swallowed the slowly building
Yeah,
anger
that's
within him
not-
once more.
We're not reading a homoerotica here. This is
Oh, we're gonna get
If it is, that will make this 100 times better.
they just start making out in the middle of the fight scene.
Liu took a bit more exception to the shove. We're going to your mom's house. Me and my brother saved up a couple of dollars from doing chores, and we hear she doesn't charge much. As the words left Liu's mouth, Randy appeared to only register a small portion of it all. Randy Hayden, okay? Didn't need to know his last name. Oh, it's going into his backstory. Randy Hayden had grown up in Mandeville. His father was a partner at a local firm that made a lot of money. Something else that Jeff would soon come to learn. Randy and his friends, while the same age as Jeff, had grown up in very different circumstances. They were used to being listened to. They were used to being feared. They were used to being in control until he came along and changed life forever.
Is that actually in it?
No, I just made that up. Like it'd be in the description of a gay porno or something.
But it sounded like it was part of the thing.
That's the thing about good acting. I'm
No,
not that
that's
good at
the
acting.
thing about bad
Hello.
writing. He muted his mic.
Who?
Okay, so what should we talk about now that we have Bean gone?
Okay, but that little fake joke thing that Bean did really sounded convincing, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, okay.
So how much of that little did they do any backstory there? Or was that all just fake?
What are you talking about? Oh, the reality stopped at they were used to being feared.
Okay.
In fact, Randy, the target of the insult, just sit there. It was actually Troy, the fat kid, who stepped forward, fist balled, eyes squinted in anger. Who are you talking to? Troy shouted.
Sounds like
Took a
Squidward.
wild swing at Liu. Liu, who was both in better shape and had sparred with Jeff a time or two during his time spent boxing, that's alright, one too many times, was able to avoid the punch, but just barely. Had that been all, it may have once again ended there. Troy was clearly taken by surprise at Liu's speed, and actually didn't attempt another punch. However, these were bullies. Kids that ran in a pack for a reason. The skinny one, Keith, stepped around and threw a punch that connected with the left side of Liu's face.
Oh fuck.
Jeff had... Yeah, right? This is intense. I'm shaking. Dude, can you hear me? Can you listen to my desk? It's shaking so much.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to. It's scary.
We're gonna get
What do you
fucking
not want to see?
demonetized.
You don't want to see.
The fight scene is scary.
Jeff had seen enough. He'd been shocked at how quickly this evolved into blows. Ooh. Even though he'd expected it from almost the start. When he'd first met Randy and his friends, he'd been curious. From there, he'd developed an annoyance with them. And slowly that annoyance had evolved into anger. However, upon seeing Liu punched, seeing the small trickle of blood form on his brother's lower lip, upon seeing the smug look of satisfaction on Keith's face, the anger that Jeff felt suddenly exploded into a rage that he'd never felt before in his life. Jeff Woods did not hesitate. He stepped forward, his feet automatically falling into the correct stance that he had learned from the boxing classes his father has once enrolled him into, and delivered a powerful right hand to Keith's face. The skinny boy had no time to register shock or pain. The punch caught him by surprise, and his knees buckled. Keith went down to the ground in a heap of confusion and dawning fear. Randy, the so-called leader here, fucking little bitch, was almost too shocked to move. He'd had quite a lot of experience starting fights, but no real time logged into losing them. He'd never felt control of a situation slip. He was used to being in charge. So now, seeing one of his friends go down so quickly and easily left him in a state of shock that he had no idea how to address. Troy, on the other hand, seemed to have a plan. Throw another punch. He moved towards Jeff deceptively faster than his weight would seem to allow, and threw two equally fast punches. Jeff, however, had no problem sidestepping both attempts. Troy, seeming lost for actions, actually dropped his arms and T-posed, as if to say, "Gee, what do I do now?"
Wait, is that real? Is that
He did not T-pose. He just dropped his arms. Jeff had the answer. He moved in, throwing 3 hooks to Troy's stomach. The hefty kid's eyes went as wide as pie pans. A fitting analogy, Jeff thought. Alright, Duke Nukem, slow down a second there. He staggered back, clutching his throbbing stomach. Gross. Jeff wasted
Why
no
is this
time and stepped in
dumb-
once more.
Why is it
What?
throbbing? Why is
It's.
it?
No one
I
got
think what they meant.
Punched
I
in the
think what
stomach
they.
and it hurts a lot. Like, you know
Yeah,
when
I
you get a
think what.
headache and it like you feel your head pulsing when you have like
Yeah,
a
but
really
the word
bad
is
headache, like a
pulsing,
migraine.
not throbbing.
Well, that's another
That's
way
the
to
same.
say
It's
pulsing.
the
It's the
same
same
word.
thing.
Throbbing would be used in a sense of you could see it on the outside. Pulsing is the feeling of it on the inside.
Well, a
Just
throbbing
the wording
pain.
is weird.
Alex.
Yeah, well,
Alex,
a throbbing pain is the exact same as a pulsing
Also-
pain, but you don't say a pulsing pain.
Also, Alex, remember, this is the chubby kid, so it's completely likely you could see the fat
Alex,
pulsing.
I've looked up the dictionary definition for throbbing, and it says beating with a strong regular rhythm, pulsating.
But it's like no, it's the context of using it in the writing world.
Well, I
But you
think what
see
he
it
means
more
is
in
a
that.
throbbing pain.
Yes, I know what it's just the phrasing of a throbbing stomach.
Yes, that is weird. This is written oddly.
Okay, I'm back.
But it's technically not
More
incorrect.
written oddly.
What's happened?
Your mom.
Alright. Okay. Jeff wasted no time and stepped in once more, fetching a sharp punch to the kid's jaw, causing Tony to promptly fall on his
But
butt.
Oh, that's what happened.
There were no other words. It was butt, nothing else. Onward. Onward with this Christian podcast,
thick.
of which we will not say bad words.
his thick ass.
We're gonna get
Fell on his
demonetized.
knee.
It's juicy.
Oh my God.
Jeff was reminded of King Hippo from the Punch-Out game he used to play. He couldn't help but smile. Jeff now turned his focus on Randy. He advanced on the boy, feeling something new forming
This
inside
is
of him.
literally
He still
just
felt-
a homoerotica.
We're gonna get so fucking demonetized.
Wait,
We're not even monetized.
We're not even
We aren't,
monetized.
but we're gonna get
We're
non-existent.
gonna get demonetized
Demonetized.
anyway.
You have to
We're gonna
have
get
over
D.
1,000 subscribers to get monetized.
Or get
But that's
demonetized.
YouTube, though. I don't know
We're
how.
gonna get demonetized because we aren't even
Castbox.
monetized.
and then suddenly you get 100, like 1,000 subscribers before this video uploads.
Wow, no,
I'm
we're
sure
not.
that if I really convinced some of my friends, they'd probably create 1,000 fucking emails just to get us monetized.
But YouTube chat. shit, like,
1,000 Smurf accounts.
bitch.
The question is,
Alright.
who would get the play button if we got a...
I think either Liam and Little Liam should, or I should, because I'm next to Jellybean Mocha and
All right, we're
Yeah.
already 25% of the way through this story.
25%.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's so long.
At the
It
same time,
moved
they
out.
may,
It's
be,
only half an hour, but y'all keep interrupting.
they may be more likely to give it to, like, me because, you know, I am older.
Can I?
Okay,
Okay,
let's just
go,
continue.
let's go.
Yes, let's continue. Let's finish this tonight.
We'll cross that road when we get to it.
Ooh, what's
He advanced on the boy, feeling something new forming inside of him. He still felt the anger, the rage, actually, at the antics of these three,
It's
buttholes. They had the nerve to mess with their bikes, the nerve to insult two kids they'd never met before, and of course, the ultimate offense. Oh, don't phrase it like that. The ultimate offense, touching his brother.
Oh no, it got worse.
I know, it's so
The
bad.
video is titled Jeff the Killer of homoerotica,
Jeff the
right?
Killer erotica.
We should read like a Jeff the Killer Lemon next to see the differences.
Oh my God.
What is a Jeff the Killer lemon? What is
Lemon
that?
is it's a fanfic word for sex.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Alright. However, mixed
be
in with
demonetized
this
in the eyes
rage
of
was
God.
also a... Oh no, stop! The words, the next sentence is even worse!
What is
No.
Read it.
However, mixed in with this rage was also a sweet, enjoyable pleasure.
Oh god, it got worse.
Okay. The person has has to know what they're doing, right?
They have to know what they're doing. They can't not know what they're doing.
Everything is painful.
All right. Anyway, not only was he kicking their ass butts, but he was loving every
That
second of
doesn't
it.
matter. We're not even monetized. I just like
It was
making the
just-
joke.
It was as though the joy of showing them up was perfectly blending with the rage he felt towards them. Together, it formed into a sadistic, controlled sense of power. Oh yeah, he's gonna be quite the dominatrix when he grows up.
Oh god, I hate it.
As Alex goes into God, please take me off of this world.
I am God. I gotta. Okay. Continue with this.
That
fucking
was
horror.
until Liu stepped in front of him. Jeff, stop! That's enough! Why stop now, Liu? They wanted this. Jeff replied in a flat voice that Liu had never heard come out of his brother's mouth.
I mean, he's not
She's
God.
calling the cops! Look! Liu shouted again. And this time, Jeff came back into reality long enough to listen. He glanced over at the video store clerk, saw her on the phone, talking frantically and pointing towards the parking lot. Suddenly, Jeff's strange sadistic haze collapsed, and he regained his former self. Fuck, let's go! He stated quickly, and he and Liu mounted their bikes and rode towards the parking lot exit. Yeah, you better fucking run! Randy called behind them. Jeff and Liu paid no mind and pedaled away. A few blocks down the street, they dismounted their bikes and began to walk them together. At first, neither brother spoke. Then Liu broke the silence. Jeff, thank you for standing up for me back there. Thank you. Didn't have to say thank you twice. Yeah, those guys were pieces of shit. They had it coming, Jeff replied, looking down at the street as they walked. What? What happened? I've never seen you like that before. There was a question mark there for some reason. Just defending myself, Liu. What was I supposed to do? Let them beat you up? I bet they go to our school. I bet we'll see them there, and they won't forget this. Who cares? We didn't ask to move here. We didn't ask for any of this. Mom and Dad just wanted a bigger house in a nicer neighborhood, and we were along for the ride whether we liked it or not. Think I give a shit about what these rich asshole kids think of us? Jeff stated, and went back to looking at his feet. Think we'll get in trouble? Liu asked. For what? Defending ourselves? Yeah, I guess you're right. They did start it, Liu answered. And to the brothers, up with an apostrophe S, the matter was closed. However, things were far from over. Catch us next episode. They found that the trouble they'd believed they escaped was in fact waiting for them at their front door. Jeff and Liu saw the police cars well before they arrived at their driveway. Two cop cars, both parked in front of their house. Both of them felt their stomachs dropped, as they well knew why the police were there. The brothers entered the living room to see their parents sitting on the couch, the two cops standing up, leaning on the wall, writing in their textbooks. What did you two do? Shalia practically screeched as the two
Shyla.
boys. No, it's Shelia. Shalia.
Shalaya.
Shalia?
I don't know. Shalila.
Hey there, Shalila. What's it like in New York City?
I think we
Liu,
spend too much
younger
time
and
together.
less centered. What?
I think we spend too much time together that we both went for the same joke.
I was gonna go for that joke too.
Liu, younger and less centered than Jeff, began to fall on the defensive. Some kids tried to jump us down by that video store. They were messing with our bikes, and when we went outside, they got in our faces. That's not the way we heard it. Oh, wait, sorry, this is the dad. That's not the way we heard it, Matt Woods interjected, his voice firm and ripe with anger and dissatisfaction. No, Dad, that's what happened, Jeff began to explain. We were down at Friendly Video, looking around the store when these 3 kids started riding around on our bikes. All we did was walk outside and the kids started talking trash to us, trying to provoke a fight. When we tried to leave, one of them punched Liu. Finally, one of the 2 cops spoke. His name tag Red Williamson. Boys, we have some serious complaints about the 2 of you. From what eyewitnesses at the shopping center say, you 2 started the confrontation with Randy and his friends. Jeff took notice at how familiar the cop's tone was when he said Randy's name. This was a small town after all, and there was a good chance that this cop had coached Randy in Little League or drank beers with his dad. Hell, it was even possible that this cop could be an uncle to one of the bullies. No, sir, Jeff replied. We didn't start it, they did. We just wanted our bikes. We just wanted to leave. They blocked us. William continued, as though he'd heard nothing Jeff said. Several witnesses, including the radio store clerk, say that you spoke first. They say that the boys were riding your bikes. But let me ask you this. Did you chain your bikes to anything? Or did you just leave them outside the store? What's that matter? Liu demanded. Well, son. This is the cop, right? Okay. Well, son, if you just left your bikes lying around in the street, you can't exactly blame Randy and his friends for riding them, can you? It would be different had you secured them somehow, but you just left them there. Mom, Dad, you're not buying this crap, are you? You know me and Liu don't start fights. When have we ever? These 3 punks mess with us, and if you can't tell that these cops are taking their sides, then you need to open your eyes. Jeff knew he was skating on thin ice, but that rage, it demanded some sort of satisfaction in any way possible. Jeffrey did not speak about these officers in that tone of voice. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Jeffrey! Do not speak about these officers in that tone of voice! And do not speak to us that way either! It's pretty obvious that you 2 aren't happy here, that you miss your old home. And starting fights in the street isn't going to change anything! Jeff's mother snapped back. Listen, boys, you're lucky. None of the parents want to press charges. This will be reported as a simple scuffle between teenagers. But be advised, you're both on notice. This is a quiet town. Not like New Orleans. We won't tolerate this sort of behavior over here. If you see Randy, Keith, or Troy, I highly suggest you tell them you're sorry. We will be keeping an eye on both of you. So don't let this happen again. You don't want to have an arrest record, do you? Jeff felt his anger bubble over, and he could not hold his tongue. Who is he to you, Officer Williamson? Is Randy your nephew? Is he a friend's son? Or maybe you go over and screw his mom while you're on duty? Which one is it, officer? That's it! Both of you go to your rooms! Matt Woods apparently found that he wasn't a mute after all. As he had ordered his sons out of the room, Jeff and Liu walked up the stairs. However, they refused to hang their heads in shame or feel any regret. Neither of their parents spoke to them for the rest of the day. Jeff and Liu stayed upstairs, venting their shared frustration to each other. They'd been screwed over, even at their young ages, and they knew that. They took some solace in the fact that they at least hadn't been arrested or cited, but still, they saw what was really going on here. That cop, he was protecting Randy, Jeff whispered to his That cop, he was protecting Randy, Jeff whispered to his younger brother. No shit, his brother replied. We have to watch ourselves. We have to take care of each other. You saw it down there. Even our parents didn't stand up for us. Yeah, what the hell was up with that? Liu asked. Imagine their fucking image. That's what's up with it. All they care about is fitting in here. They want to make sure they blend in with the rest of the Stepford families. No more fighting. If we see Randy or his 2 fuckhead friends again, we'll just walk away, okay? But Jeff, you could kick the shit out of them. Why would we walk away? Liu asked. Because I can't kick the shit out of the cops, Liu. I can kick the shit out of Mom and Dad, and that's what would get us. fucking Randy and his pals are protected here, and you and me, we're not. So if we see them, just avoid them, okay? Please? Liu nodded. I feel like a little bitch, though. Oh, I owe Keith for hitting me.
Revoke your breathing privileges.
No, you don't. I paid him back for that, and paid his fat friend too. I hope they just leave us alone now, Jeff sighed. Jeff and Liu didn't hear from their parents for the rest of that day. They slowly starved as they never left their room, and they could never find anything to eat. They remained in their rooms late into the night, and finally came down to eat after they were sure their folks had gone to bed. Leo said that he felt relieved about that, but Jeff had a sinking feeling that the worst was yet to come. Jeff was correct. Foreboding! The next morning, when the two brothers came downstairs together to eat breakfast, their parents were already sitting at the dining room table, staring at the boys, unblinking, unwavering, approving of nothing they saw. "Sit down," Matt stated flatly. "What's going on?" "Sit down," Matt stated again. Answered, "Dancing," on the words. The boys complied without further question. Matt Woods, I don't know what this story has with its weird habit of saying their full names. It's weird.
We just need to know his full name is Matt Woods. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
we need to know everybody's backstory. Matt Woods began his diatribe. "Whatever that was yesterday, beating up some kids for touching your bikes, mouthing off at the police, disrespecting both me and your mother. That stops today." "We didn't beat up anyone for touching our bikes," Jeff blurted. "Shut up, Jeff, you silly bitch. This is a one-way conversation," his father barked. "That kid, Randy Haven, his father is a partner at my firm. Did you know that? Did you even think about that when you were assaulting him over your godforsaken bike?" "You just didn't think." Oh, sorry, this is the mom. "You just didn't think, did you, Jeff?" Shalayam added. "How could I have known that?" Matt continued. "Well, I've been spending the entire morning talking to his father on the phone. His dad is willing to let it all go, but shit, son, I have to deal with that at work now. Do you have any idea how much damage this could have done to me? To our family?" Jeff felt that rage coming back and fought with all his might to keep it stifled. Instead, he once more tried to appeal to the two adults' parental side. "Mom, look at Liu's face! They split his lip! Can't you see? It's still swollen!" Liu turned his head to better showcase the injury. "My God, Jeff! So some kids played a little rough with your brother! Is that any reason to fight us? I just wanted to make friends with some of the other families in the neighborhood, but that's you! I just don't know!" No sooner could Jeff or his brother construct a proper defense than their father began speaking again. "So your mother and I have talked this through. Since there are only a couple weeks of summer vacation left, we've decided that Liu should spend the rest of the season at Aunt Marcy's place. We've already spoken to her, and she's willing to let him come out there and stay. Come out there." Ooh. Both the sigh of disappointment by multiple people.
Let's just finish this stupid fucking story. So
We're almost halfway through. It's alright.
Halfway through.
Almost halfway.
Shut up! I'll read faster! Would you like me to read faster?
Yeah.
Alright. Both Jeff and Leo were floored by this decision. Both boys began to protest at the same time, but they saw the look on their parents' faces. The decision was made. "Why can't we both just go then?" Jeff asked. Alexis effort
too
to at
fast.
least get away from his parents. Marcy doesn't
My-
want to go
my
with
slow
both of you
brain
there.
can't comprehend it. I mean, it's not like I'm really paying attention, but
Both Jeff and Leo were floored by this decision. Both boys began to protest at the same time, but they saw the look on their parents' faces. The decision was made. Why can't we both just go then? Jeff asked, a last-ditch effort to at least get away from his parents. Moxie doesn't want both of you there. She says you two are two red bunches, and frankly, we agree, Shalaya answered. And so it was. Leo was shuttled off to his aunt's place in Abita Springs, Louisiana, a place even smaller and duller than Mandeville. And if one can believe it, Jeff watched his brother leave and then walked back to his bedroom. He felt that rage. However, it began to feel almost pleasant to him. He couldn't explain it. He was furious at this turn of events. His parents had turned their backs on their own children. However, through it all, these new feelings he was experiencing weren't terrible at all. This anger, for example, he could almost taste it. It felt like thick, sweet syrup stirring around in him. Of course, he knew the extra ingredient that would complete the flavor. The satisfying joy he'd felt when he had Randy on his friends on the ropes that day prior. I made none of that up. That was all in the story.
So
The story.
uncomfortable.
I don't want to hear anymore.
That mixed perfectly with the anger to create some intoxicating product that Jeff almost craved now. He fell asleep lying on his bed, thinking about that syrup, that thick, viscous that seemed to work its way into the very fabric of his soul. He wanted it, yet he knew that it was destructive and that nothing good could come from sampling it again. Several days passed and tensions were high between Jeff and his parents. Without Leo around, there was nothing for him to do except sit around in his room and play video games. He went outside but didn't venture far from his home. He knew if Randy and his goons showed up again, it would likely result in another fight. For a few days that worked well, and Jeff believed he could get through this. However, his mother changed all of that on an early Saturday morning. Jeff was awoken suddenly by sharp sunlight striking his face. He heard his mother humming, something that she rarely did. Even in this half-sleeping state, he knew that humming was forced. She was doing it to wake him up, and figured that the added sunlight would get things there even faster. When she noticed Jeff's eyes cracking open, she sauntered over to his bed and began speaking in a tone that simply oozed false joviality. At first, Jeff had refused. Could his mother be serious? Did she really expect him to go over and make friends with Randy? He was still in bed when his mother stopped her incessant humming long enough to tell him to get up and get dressed. Once he learned why, he'd told her no way in hell. However, his mother was a shrewd manipulator, and she'd know exactly what would get the job done. She promised Jeff that if he did this for her, went over and made it work with Randy, that Leo could come home the next day. She'd sandbag Jeff right into the corner with that one. He had no choice but to agree. A short time later, Jeff and his mother were...
the kids to get along. That totally will work and not make things worse.
I don't know what you're talking about. That works with everything.
Yeah, that's
my
that's
parents
how I
use
died.
that.
I'm a ghost, that's why I'm so pale.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Why'd you make it
Wait, sorry.
confusing?
Hold on. Alright.
Let's continue. You said we weren't even halfway through. Don't worry.
No, we're halfway through.
Oh, thank God.
A short time later, Jeff and his mother were pulling into Randy's driveway. This is gonna be the big fight scene. Just watch.
Oh shit, this is earlier than expected.
Fight scene, fight scene, fight scene.
Randy's mother answered the door.
He's out for blood.
Hi,
Is she-
you must be Jeff. Jeff smiled wanly. What the hell is wanly? Do they mean Wanley?
I think they mean
Hold on, let
warmly.
me look up what wanly means.
So what's happened since I was gone?
Oh, in a weak or pale or languid manner. Okay, so a weak smile.
It is a word then. It's
Yes, it is.
It's a stupid word.
And confirmed that was in fact who he was. Hello, I'm Shalai Woods. Nice to finally meet you in person, Jeff's mother announced, barging past her son, pushing him over, shoving into the mud, and cracking his neck on her heels, and extended a hand to Randy's mother.
Oh my god.
Shalaya, so pleased to meet you.
You need to stop adding those extra bits. It's gonna make the story longer.
I'm Bridget Hayden. Sorry to hear that our boys had a little mishap the other day.
See,
I know how it is with those teenagers, hormones going crazy and all. Randy never gets into fights, but he explained to me that Jeff and his brother are still new to the area, and haven't quite learned how we do things here in Manville yet. Isn't that right, Jeff?
This anymore.
Are you guys okay?
Alex and Shady are just crying in the background.
Why is everybody crying? What's happening?
It was an oopsie whoopsie.
I started.
What
crying.
happened? What happened?
I started fake crying and then real tears came in my eyes, and
I just followed along with Alex. I'm having the worst time of my
I
life.
almost died in Mario Kart because of me.
Should
crying.
we not make this podcast
No,
like
I
goddamn-
want to finish this. We are already
We
halfway
started
through.
this.
We're
We
already
need to
recording.
And, like it doesn't have to be on like Castbox or shit. We can just put it on YouTube.
Yes, let's do that. You guys gotta send me the YouTube channel and the thing.
Have we not?
No.
We will. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's
All right.
continue because I am tired and I need to sleep.
Jeff couldn't resist a small jab. Yeah, sorry about that, Miss Hayden. Me and Leo had no idea that it was okay for your son and his friends what? For your son and his friends and mess with our bikes without asking. Alright? Richard! He gets that mail from his father! He never knows when to shut up! How about you and I going into the coffee and you can tell me all the great gossip around Maryville while our boys get
never
to know
knows
each
when
other the right way?
I'm so scared.
Randy is in his room, Jeff. Upstairs. Second door to your left. I'm sure you'll hear the sound of his video games or something. It stated with very little humor to her voice. Thank you, ma'am. Jeff entered. Jeff answered and entered the house. Jeff knocked and heard Randy answer with, "Hey, yo, come in." So I guess you heard our parents want us to hang out, get to know each other, Jeff stated with little conviction. Yeah, that's my mom, alright. She doesn't like drama. Honestly, I think she worries too much. I mean, I'm cool if you're cool. Jeff sat down on the floor next to Randy and struck up a conversation. So, turns out your dad is my dad's boss. He freaked out about the fight in the parking lot. He was actually worried that he'd get fired or something. Hey, yo, my dad is like everybody's boss. I fucking hate it. I think half the kids at the school talk to me because their parents are somehow connected to my dad's firm. Why do you hate it? Jeff asked. Because it's fucking fake, asshole. This whole damn town is fake. You figure it out as soon as you go. But trust me. Everyone who live here is just trying to pretend they're something else.
This guy tries to like commit identity fraud. Like his accent changes every time he appears in the story.
I don't know how to do a Boston accent, so he's just gonna be Russian from now on.
It's just a different
My
actor
parents-
playing him each time, and it just gets progressively worse, and they don't know their lines, and it's...
Why don't we do one of the things where
My parents
one
make
person
me
is
do all
supposed
the
to
shit,
read?
all the trophies and stuff, just so they can brag. That's it. Jeff smiled. I know how you feel. My dad had me in boxing class a year ago because some coworker of his had a brother that worked at the place or something. Soon as that guy quit, though, I was out of that gym the next week. I wish it was that easy, Randy responded. I hate playing baseball, but my dad will short to my dad will short to have me out there. Is he actually Russian? But my dad will short to have me out there again next summer. in the summer afterwards. It's like he knows I hate
Oh.
it, but wants to make sure I'm not
Oh,
out there
they
with
meant-
this stupid company
okay.
name on the back of my jersey.
Okay, they missed an is. My dad is short or a 2. My dad is short to have me out there next year.
So
There.
is he like becoming friends with his bully?
I guess so. I guess that's the thing that's happening.
I don't know. The story's all kind of fucked up.
Just continue.
All right, let's.
I
No,
don't like these
we're only
twists.
halfway through. We don't know what's gonna happen. Would all of you just
I don't
shush?
like it. We're
Okay.
And let me-
halfway
thank you.
through.
Poop heads. Alex, please don't start crying. You're gonna get shady all up, and then Ethan's gonna get all riled up. No, no,
Okay. So this bit is what you should play at the beginning of the
All right, can I please fucking finish the story? I just want to get this bullshit over with already.
Yeah,
Yeah,
finish.
All right.
Please.
All right. All right. Randy, why did you and our friends fuck our? Nope, not fuck our bikes. Fuck with our bikes.
Erotica, but it's bikes.
It's a bike erotica.
Wait, guys, they're both in the one guy's room.
Winky face.
Yeah. Oh no, they're both in his bedroom.
Winky face.
Oh,
What are they,
no.
like 13? You guys need to stop. He almost
I
took
told
Right
you,
into
the town
it.
is fake and boring as shit. There is nothing to do around here. We have to find stuff to do. I mean, there are only so many times you can go hang out at the video store or ride the dirt bikes in the woods. All the girls here are stuck up, all the stores close early, there's no mall, and the movie theater is across town. We were just bored, man, so sorry for that, I guess. It's cool, Jeff replied. I guess I'm sorry for too. Things went too far. Like, the writing is getting progressively worse as we continue.
Oh no! It's not getting worse. They're just are slowly bringing the writing back to the original quality.
Remaster.
Please
No, it's
continue.
like My Immortal wasn't editor, but then like they started fighting with the writer, and there's just no editing by the end of it, and it just looked like.
We should read the mail.
You mean the fight? Randy asked. That shit was actually cool. Those guys, Keith and Troy, they just leech on because of Dad. It's like I told you. And I'm just to let everybody know, they just leech on because of Dad is the actual sentence. It's
How's
like I
everything
told you.
on
I'm
mine?
pretty sure their parents make them hang out with me. The afternoon went on, and Jeff soon forgot that this was a mandatory arrangement. He actually started to find himself liking Randy. Maybe a bit too much. Sure, their first encounter was a little...
No. I'm gonna start crying again.
No, okay, I'll stop, please. No, please. We're making this longer than it has to be. I'm just gonna fucking read over you guys.
Then no one will be able to hear you reading.
Sure, their first encounter was a little sketchy,
Okay,
but he was...
stop crying. Don't make us cry anymore.
But he was coming around to the guy, finding that he wasn't so bad because once his idiot friends were removed from the equation. About an hour later, things took a new turn. Jeff heard the twin pops of the twin pops of two car doors shutting in near unison. Then heard the engine start up. He dropped the game controller and peered out of Randy's bedroom window just in time to see his mother and Randy's mother backing out of the driveway. Her parents are leaving, Jeff said. About time! I figured my mom would eventually talk your mom into going shopping, or getting coffee, or Miss Genocide, something like that. Jeff heard Randy pause the game. Uh-oh. Hey Jeff, come downstairs. I want to show you some cool stuff. Randy invited, and Jeff followed.
I'm uncomfortable.
Randy led Jeff out to the garage. It was hot in there. With the main door shut, the garage was well kept though. Jeff observed the stacks of magazines underneath the workbench, as well as tools and various other utility items stacked about. Standing in the small, closed-in garage with the late summer heat lingering about, Jeff began to feel a bit uneasy. Despite the fact that he and Randy had seemed to bond over the last few hours, Jeff couldn't ignore a sense that things were different now that the adults were gone. What did you want to show me? Jeff asked. Hold on, let me get it. Zip.
I'm uncomfortable.
Randy replied. Hold on.
We can't cry. We gotta stay strong.
I swear to God, I will read over you. Don't you make me.
Alex, stay strong for mother.
We gotta do
Hold on. Hold on, let me get it, Randy replied, moving the magazines out to reveal a small red box. Jeff watched as Randy removed the box and opened it. Check it out, it's my dad's flare gun, Randy announced, and waved the red tubular gun about. Whoa, be careful with that, Jeff shouted, more out of shock than real concern. It's fine, dude, don't be a pussy, it's not even loaded, Randy said. However, Jeff watched as he fished one of the flares out of a back compartment. Randy then continued to fiddle with the flare gun, popping it open and loading a flare. No, it's loaded, he announced. My dad showed me how to use it this last year when we went out boating. Sometimes I take it out back and shoot flares at the trees. But maybe this time I don't need a tree.
Is that what it says?
The change in Randy's voice and demeanor was impossible to ignore. Okay, well... Cool gun. Let's get back into the house, though. It's hot out here. Plus, I'm getting hungry. What do you have to eat? However, as Jeff walked through the small door leading back into the house, his path was suddenly blocked by two more familiar faces. Where are you going, Jeffrey? The fat kid, Troy, blurted out as he and Keith stepped forward into the garage. Took you two assholes long enough to get here. I've had to babysit. Oh, nope, that is the not good F word. I am not. No.
Oh no!
I've had to babysit this F word all day. Randy shouted.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
Bean, just use fucker. Just use fucker. It's much better.
Yeah, all right. I've had to babysit this firefly all day.
No, that's
Randy
worse.
shouted. How is that worse?
That sounds more.
It's condescending.
You're replacing an already bad word that you shouldn't say with another not, like, sort of not.
Is firefly a bad word?
No. It's just the context of using the word firefly in.
Oh, okay.
I've
had
gonna
to
get shot with a
babysit
flare gun.
Just say fuck.
Fuck. Just say fucker.
I've had to babysit this
Why are they
Fuck.
so
all day. Wait, hold on. I got an idea. I've had to babysit this fuck all day, Randy shouted. A wicked joy was present in his words. Sorry, Randy, but Keith here had to mow his front yard before his parents would let him come out. Troy said, a sheepish tone to his voice. It's cool, we're here now. What the fuck is going on?
It's
Jeff
just
asked,
like an old
staring at
man.
Randy. He noticed that Randy still had the flare gun in his hands. I'll tell you what's going on, Jeff. You owe Keith and Troy an apology for what you did. You sucker punched them. Then ran away. Didn't even have the balls to fight them fair. So now, You're going to pay them what you owe. I'm not going to fight you, okay? I'm done with that shit, Jeff replied as he glanced around the room for an exit. You're right about that. You're not going to fight. You're going to stand there and let my boys get their licks in. Then I get mine, and when that's done, you get the fuck out of my house. I tell my mom that you got sick and walk home, and after that, if you see us again, you better walk the other way. I'm not going to stand here and get hit by you or your friends, so just let me go home. How about that? I tell my mom that we're cool and everyone wins, okay? Jeff asked. Randy then raised the flare gun towards Jeff. No, you stay, pussy. You stay here and take your licks like a good little boy.
Bad bean.
Jeff felt that sensation once more. That sick, rich, dark matter that swirled about inside of him. He could taste it now. It was heaven. In his mind, he imagined himself diving into it, swimming in it, letting it swallow him whole. He looked around, and the sensation only grew. He saw Randy standing there, holding the flare gun. It was limp in his hands, though. Ooh. And the hammer was not cocked back. Jeff knew that Randy had no intention of firing it. He looked over at Keith, skinny, pathetic, frail, way too old to be here. A kid born to follow. Troy, fat and sweaty, with no nose at all, breathing a bit heavy from his walk over, and of course, with no nose. And in the middle of it all, Jeff himself. He felt that pleasure begin to mix with the rage, forming the perfect product.
So we have we have Voldemort, we have a vampire, and then we have an old man who probably should be on his meds.
He tried to avoid sampling it. He knew that only regret would come from indulging in it. However, when it was placed so close, when the aroma and the promise of that sweet, savory flavor was only inches away, Jeff found that he could no more to stand against it than a ship in the ocean could stand against a typhoon. Okay. Jeff began to smile.
But okay.
What are you smiling at me? Ah, son of a fucking bitch. I'm skipping the sentence.
Why?
Hi.
Cause it's bad. It's a bad sentence.
How is it bad? Read the
story.
sentence.
No.
Read it as best as you can and implement everything.
Does it say the no word?
Yes.
Okay.
Then implement it with fuck.
All right. No, I know what I'll do. Why are you smiling at me? Are you fuck or something? Randy asked, a slight nervous tinge in his voice. Am I smiling, Randy? I guess it's because I'm just having so much fun, Jeff announced, and suddenly lunged towards the unprepared kid holding the flare gun. Oh! It scared me, and I'm reading it. Oh! No. Jeff struck Randy once again in the nose.
Okay.
Randy's arms dropped, and he T-posed yet again. Yet he kept hold of the flare gun. Jeff, without even needing to look, realized that Troy and Keith had actually taken a step back instead of advancing as they should have. Jeff delivered another strong blow to Randy's jaw, causing the boy to drop to the floor. Jeff now turned his attention to Troy and Keith, the two tough kids that had yet to actually make so much as a move in his direction. Troy actually backed up a step, stumbled over the stack of magazines that Randy had moved earlier. Jeff took this opportunity and stepped forward, once again introducing Troy's round belly to his fist. Troy tried to stay on his feet, but Jeff's punches combined with the stumble over the magazines caused Troy to fall back, landing hard and striking his head on the concrete slab that was the garage's floor. Keith was actually trying to back away. However, Jeff was currently standing between him and the only exits to the garage. Since the carport door was closed, Jeff took 2 quick steps towards the skinny kid and felt the most intense joy at seeing Keith stagger backwards knocking his back into the wall. That perfect blend of pleasure, control, and rage had come together. Jeff had felt as though he was floating above the world. Somewhere in his mind, he knew there would be hell to pay for this, but at that exact moment in time, he couldn't care less. He didn't care about Liu. He didn't care about being arrested. He didn't care if his dad got fired. All he cared about in that fraction of time was hurting Keith. Keith tried to make a run for it, hoping to squeeze through the small gap between Jeff and the door. However, Jeff clipped him a hard right hand to his face, causing Keith to stagger back again. Jeff could see that his knees were buckling and took full advantage. He moved in, pinning Keith to the wall. And began to deliver blow after blow to the skinny kid's stomach. Keith's eyes became as large as saucers. Once satisfied, Jeff stepped back and watched in demonic glee as Keith slowly slid from the wall, gasping for air. Randy got back to his feet, but seemed to have no idea what to do. "We done now, Randy? We good? Or do you and your friends need more?" No, we're cool. I was just playing, stop! How about you assholes?
It was Randy's idea. Please, my hemorrhoids and my arthritis aren't built for this.
Keith said weakly.
Yeah,
Isn't he
man, we
actually
didn't
fat?
even want to. If there's
No.
only so much raw force this much belly fat can endure.
Troy agreed.
Oh, wait.
The debate may have continued, but the sound of a returning car broke the tension. "Oh shit, my mom is back!" His voice cracking in a humorous way. "Oh, sorry. Oh shit, my mom is back," Randy shouted. See, it was a humorous way, wasn't it? It seemed that It seemed that the previous tough guy had all but shrunk back to a scared child.
So, we'll just say that we were all hanging out.
Keith replied.
No, the fucking flare gun. If she finds out that I messed with it, I'm screwed.
"So put it back," Jeff suggested. The sensation of rage was fading again, and he felt control returning.
Yeah, grab the magazines, please.
Randy begged. Jeff found that he rather liked that tone, that begging, whipped dog mentality. Jeff was paying no attention to Randy. He was down on the floor calmly gathering the magazines. He didn't really care if Randy got in trouble or not. However, if his mother returned and found trouble, he feared that Leo may not be able to return home as promised. Everything else happened in a flash, both literally and figuratively. Randy, now in a panic over the trouble he'd be in if he was caught playing with a flare gun, had begun to sweat. As his hands frantically clawed over the gun, his thumbs pushed the hammer back unintentionally. He didn't even notice that the gun was cocked. He was turning it over in his hands, trying to quickly disarm it. Then he heard the sound of keys in the front door. He knew that he only had seconds now to hide it. Everything else happened in slow motion. The gun slipped from Randy's sweaty hands as he had attempted to rotate it once more. He saw it fall to the floor, seeming to float to the ground rather than fall. Jeff, busy stacking magazines, had only enough time to register Randy's shocked gasp. He turned to look in the boy's direction, just in time to see the bright red flare gun hit the floor. The gun discharged, launching a speeding ball of fire directly into Jeff's face. Jeff felt the hot flash of heat and pain tear across the left side of his face, and after the initial registry of agony, there was no more thinking. Jeff began to scream, clutching the left side of his face and rolling around on the floor. For a while, he forgot everything, as he was plunged into that dark, rich syrup once more, the rage almost serving to dull the pain. When he finally did come back to a stable level of alertness, he realized he was in a hospital room. Half of his face was bandaged. He knew that much. He wanted to open his eyes and speak, let his family know he was awake, but the drugs still had a firm hold. He was awake, but not quite yet functioning. He could hear several familiar voices, though.
Is he going to be okay, Mister?
Jeff's mother asked.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Your son will be fine. However, he will have a lengthy road to recovery, and he will need your support. The flare struck his face and caused third-degree burns on his left side. How big is the eye?
Jeff's father. Oh, sorry, that was his dad. How big?
Doctor has asthma. Someone Taylor.
How bad is the eye?
Hard to say at this point, but we'll need an optometrist for further review. But the damage appears quite severe. His face! What about his face?
Ow.
Jeff's mother asked, sounding deeply concerned. Hold on. I actually stop.
Knock it off!
I'm so lightheaded after doing those voices that I'm trying to get a break, and all I hear is.
Drink some water.
I'm going to send you to the scrap heap.
Drink some water. Drink.
I'm going to feed you to the peacocks. All right. Oh my god. Just let me read. We are almost done.
Okay,
We are
okay,
almost done.
Okay.
We are almost done.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh! Fuck Nate, you guys. I hate this voice so much.
Change it.
Well,
No.
Oh,
clean and treat the injury in time.
I can barely hear that.
Concern
Please
for
be.
infection.
he's a
It
robot.
sounds like a
Sorry,
very
hold on.
Bad robot voice.
Well, we were able to clean and treat the injury in time, so you've no concern for infection or anything of that matter. We'll want him on antibiotics for a while, but you'll need to have the wound cleaned and dressed on a regular basis. But all in all, your son is very lucky. The damage could have been fatal. We wouldn't want that now, would we? Doctor!
His mother began again.
It scared me, literally.
Doctor!
Actually scared me.
I could tell because your crying sounded way more genuine.
I'm gonna have a panic attack.
Doctor! His mother began again. What if there's permanent damage? What do we do about that?
July,
Eli, be like, do my rap, can't I?
As I said, an optometrist will have to examine the eye. I have quite the fondness for eyes. Would you like to see my collection?
Shalia Woods interrupted the doctor, sounding more agitated than before.
You can't even understand.
She demanded.
Than before. You can't hear what it says.
You'll never know what she said.
Yeah, it will forever be a mystery.
Well, ma'am, we have treated his face. Like I said, there shouldn't be a risk of infection.
If I could go back to 2007
Unless you
where the
want
creator,
one.
Jeff the Killer, I think I would.
It would be such a shame for your son to be
This doctor needs to stop smoking.
infected.
She cut him off again. Miss Woods, that's hardly a concern at this point. Once he is healed and back on his feet, you can possibly explore plastic surgery.
to repair some of the damage. But honestly, right now, we can't waste concern on
What did she even say?
on how he
Concern?
looks. What is important is that your son is healthy. Leave him in my care. He will be taken care
So
of.
much anger in his fucking voice.
Jeff's dad spoke again. Thank you, Doctor. Can we have him some time alone, please? My wife and I need to speak.
Certainly, I will be watching.
What?
I'm gonna take a day to myself tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know.
Choices. Think about not.
Leo,
I kind
why
of have
don't
to
you
get
go
the
down
most
to
out
the
of tomorrow
hospital
because
cafe-
tomorrow's the last day I can actually do stuff.
Leo, why don't you go down to the hospital cafeteria and get yourself a snack? Matt Wood suggested. But I want to be up here in case Jeff wakes up, Leo replied. Jeff is heavily medicated. I don't expect him to wake up anytime tonight. So just go, and if he does come around, we'll have you paged. Jeff heard the door open and close as Leo exited. His parents both let out a long, shaky sigh. But Jeff was starting to believe it was not a sigh of relief, but rather one of stress. We're going to have to homeschool him now, Matt. That's just what it's going to be. We're going to have to keep him home. He heard his mother rant, her voice sounding frantic. What? I mean, he probably won't be able to start school right on time. But I doubt he'll miss a whole year, his father responded, trying to maintain a calmer voice. I'm not talking about that, Matt. I'm not worried about him missing a week or two of school. I mean his face, Matt. You heard what the doctor said. His face is going to be disfigured. I can't be the mother of an ugly little abomination.
Is that what she fucking
Shalaya
says? Is
argued
that
back.
what she says?
No, she stopped at his face is going to be disfigured.
I was
Okay,
gonna
but
fucking
how her
cry.
character acts, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, right?
That's actually. Yeah.
That's
Like,
why I
We
had
don't
to
even know the
clarify.
full extent of the damage yet, Shalaya. It could be minor. It could possibly heal, and you heard what he said. Plastic surgery could be an option in time. Time? What kind of time? A year? 2 years? 3 years? 4 years? 5 years? 6 years? 7 years? 8 years? What about in the meantime? People are going to see him and they're going to talk. Is that what you want? He's going to be a freak. You think anyone is going to want to have him around their kids? Jeff was hearing all of this, letting it soak in slowly. As his mind absorbed the words, he felt that rage return. Sick, rich, dark, that syrup of raw primal emotion. He wanted to scream at his mother, to tell her to shut up, that he was the one lying there, half his face burned, blind in one eye, all thanks to her forcing him to go over to Randy's house. He wanted to ask her why she left, why she went off to go shopping or have her nails done or whatever it is that she did. He wanted to know why she'd leave him alone with a kid who just days before tried to jump him and his brother. He wanted to know how she could care more about his appearance than the fact that he was lying in a hospital. However, there was still so much more that he wanted to know as well. He wanted to know how much more his mother hated him, how much more she saw him as a, now, how did she put it? A freak. He wanted to continue to swim in the thick pool of dark hatred that was starting to form from the rage and anger. That was a new one now. Before it was anger, then it was anger mixed with pleasure, but now it was anger mixed with hatred. While he certainly longed to be free of it, while he most certainly preferred the false sense of love and concern he believed he'd heard from her before, he also wanted to test it out a bit more. He also began to wonder, how well would this new recipe blend with pleasure? How would it feel? Matt Woods began to speak again. I just can't believe he shot himself in the face with a flare gun. I always thought Jeff was more responsible than that. Don't even get me started on that, Shalia replied. I couldn't believe it when Randy and his friends explained to the medics and police how it all happened. Randy was trying to show Jeff around his house and wanted to show him the collection of magazines his dad had kept in the garage. You know, boys, he was probably hoping that a couple Playboys would be in there or something. Then he had just found the box containing the flare gun and just, oh my god, it's such a long paragraph. I'm done doing that voice. I just wouldn't stop playing around with it. You should have heard those other boys, Matt. They told me that they practically begged Jeff just to put it down before he got hurt. But he just had to show off. I just don't know where we went wrong, Matt. I thought us moving out here to a nice quiet neighborhood would make everything happy. Jeff, though, he just wants to fight us on everything. And while that came together in Jeff's mind, he continued to swim in that black ichor of hatred and rage. The morphine drip added a nice touch of euphoria. Jeff could almost see himself plunging into the syrupy waters of hatred. And emerging changed. Each dip brought him so much twisted pleasure. That was when he finally understood. He could sample it now, not because he was enjoying what was happening, but because he knew he could enjoy what was to come. Just as the doctor had predicted, Jeff was scheduled to go home a few days later. During his time at the hospital, he never asked to see his face. It wasn't until the last day that he finally asked for a mirror. The nurse had come in to change his bandages. As was the routine, she was a pleasant woman. She spoke to him, asked him how he was doing. He enjoyed her visits, so on the final day when she arrived to clean and dress his face, he asked to see himself.
Are you sure, sweetheart?
It's
Would
not
you
the
like
doctor,
me to
it's a
call
nurse,
in your
it's not the
parents
doctor, it's a nurse, it's not the doctor,
It's
a
a hive
nurse.
mind. It's a hive mind. It's a hive
To
mind.
make them cry.
Stop it! Stop it right now! You better stop right now!
You gotta stop crying. We gotta work on it. We're almost done. We're almost done.
I pulled it up to see how long
No.
we had left. It's so
Ahem!
We just gotta finish this, and then we're done.
Please hurry.
Then we're gonna read children's books.
Just read it. Just read it.
Yeah,
Hurry,
we're gonna
just go,
we're
just
gonna
go.
read we're gonna binge read Clifford the Big Red Dog. Okay, buddy? Okay, big guy?
Clifford scares me.
What scared you?
The mentioning of Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Why? Why are you
Wait.
screaming at Clifford the
wait,
Big
wait,
Red
wait.
Dog?
So,
It's scary.
so if I said Clifford the Big Red Dog,
What if I said Clifford the Little Red Puppy?
Oh.
What if I said Clifaford?
Big word.
Like
that's
Lord.
me.
Please continue. Please
What if I
continue,
said
please
Drawfilk?
continue. Please continue.
Okay, continue.
Okay. No, thank you, Jeff replied. I think I want to see it for myself first, without them standing over me,
I understand.
she replied honestly, without a hint of pretension. Once the bandages were off, she handed him a small hand mirror.
Would you like me to step out of the room? I could let in another nurse, but don't worry. We're all the same.
She asked. Jeff ignored her and looked at himself, taking stock of the damage. Sure enough, his face was a mess. The entire left side, at least. The flare struck him traveling upwards. Okay, sure, you know what, fine. And burned a scar into his left cheek that extended into his eye. At first glance, it almost looked like he was smiling on that side. Fuck you, fuck off, fuck you.
Just read it.
That's-
Just read it.
the
pull
scar
through,
was
pull
still-
through. Pull through.
No, that's gonna make them cry.
The scar was still bright red, and burn tissue spread out on either side. Once it arrived at his eye, the news did not get any better. His eye was white, just a lifeless bulb plugged into his face. He closed his right eye and found that he could see nothing from his left eye at all. The scar continued up the left side of his forehead. The damage was less severe there, however. The hair on his left side of his head was burned off, leaving a few strands to stick up here and there.
Sorry, sweetie. If you would permit me to call you that. But I have to put on clean bandages. You wouldn't want to be infected, now would you?
She told him. Jeff smiled. It's okay. There will be plenty of time for me to admire myself later. There was no joy from his parents on the ride home, or upon arrival. They spoke very little, and there was a tension in the car that simply wouldn't fade out. As for Liu, he was thrilled that his brother was okay, but he didn't know what to say concerning the damage to his face. So, after asking a few questions about the accident and the recovery, he fell silent as well. They walked into their room at dusk, and Liu asked about dinner. He suggested that they let Jeff pick a place to celebrate his return home. Just go to sleep. Both of you boys, go to sleep. Wow, that's not forced at all, Shalia remarked. She and her husband both retreated to their bedrooms as well. To argue or feel sorry for themselves? Who knew? Jeff and Liu didn't speak that much that night. Jeff spent most of the evening staring at himself in the mirror. He kept pulling back the bandages and looking at the scars. Kept, like, multiple times. Liu wanted to see them too, but felt that it might be imprudent to ask. I'm glad you're home, Jeff. I really missed you, and I'm glad you're okay, Liu said to Jeff as he stared at himself. I'm not okay, Liu, and neither are you. None of us are, really. There's a sickness here. The only difference is, now my sickness shows on the outside as well. Jeff replied, his voice as flat as that on an answering machine. What are you talking about? Liu asked. One day you'll see it too. This is what happens, though. This is what happens when it all falls down, Jeff said, still peeking behind his bandages. Jeff, I don't know what you're trying to say. Jeff didn't reply, though, and after several moments, Liu left him alone. Liu went down to his parents' bedroom and knocked on the door. What is it? The voice of his mother asked. Mom, I think Jeff is acting weird. You may want to come talk to him. Fuck off, Liu. Leave your mother alone. She didn't actually say that. She said go away. Oh, sorry, that was the dad. Fuck off, Liu. Leave your mother alone, his father's voice answered. Liu, being young, had no other ideas, so he returned to his own bedroom. He didn't know that those would be the last words he'd ever hear his parents speak to him. That night, Shalia and Matt Woods awoke together. Both being light sleepers, it took little to bring them out of slumber. The sudden removal of their blanket as it was snatched from the bed did the trick just fine. They awoke to see a small light coming from the half-bath that was situated in their master bedroom. The door was cracked only slightly, and the light source was weak. They could make out a human shape standing over their bed, though. What? What is going on? Shalia grumbled. As their vision came into focus, they realized their son was standing before them. Matt reached over and flipped on the lamp next to their bed. Jeff was standing there, his bandages off, his disfigured face beaming at them with a long kitchen knife clutched in his right hand. What are you doing, son? Matt asked, his mind still trying to shake out the cobwebs of sleep. Shalia screamed, grabbing at her husband's arm. Matt kept his composure, though. Shalia, it's probably the painkillers. He likely got up and got disoriented, for Christ's sake. Jeff tilted his head to one side, not speaking. He stared hard at his father, slowly bringing up the knife, ensuring that he saw it well. Son, what are you doing? Scaring you, Jeff replied, with no emotion in his voice. Shalia pleaded. Okay, son, I realize you've been through a lot, but you need to go back to bed.
I'm going to call the doctor in the morning. And Jeff moved quickly across to his father's side of the bed, his head moving about, alternating between a normal-looking young man and the deformed ghoul that had been lurking in the shadows. Okay, son, you scared me. Is that what you wanted? Matt asked, adjusting to the middle of the bed to put distance between himself and his son. Good. Now I can start hurting you. Jeff spoke again, with no emotion. His father had time to utter a single syllable, most likely to ask another question, to try and reason with his son. Jeff, however, gave him time to do no more than that. He lunged onto the bed, driving the knife into his father's stomach. Matt attempted to fend Jeff off, but the wound to his midsection rendered him into shock, and his arms fell to the side. Jeff could hear his mother screaming, but paid no mind. He wanted to finish with his father first. Removing the knife, Jeff stabbed down into his stomach 3 more times. I'm assuming his father? There is no subject there. His father gasped and coughed up blood. His body jerked and twitched each time the knife found its mark, and after the 3rd time, Matt Woods lay still. Shalaya had backed up against the headboard of the bed. She wanted to climb down, make a run for it, but she'd balled herself up between the headboard and the end table. In her frantic state of terror and confusion, she couldn't figure out how to do something as simple as dismount a bed. Jeff, why are you doing this to us? She asked feebly. Randy started it. You must have known that, but you ignored it. Leo had a busted lip. You must have seen that, but you ignored it. I was shot in the face with a flare gun, but you believed Randy. Why? So you could fit in? Jeff asked in a low, almost growling voice. Alright, well, I'm not redoing that, so fuck you. No, baby, I believe you. It was just your father's job. We're new here, and oh, Jeff, please, his mother begged. Tell me about homeschool, Mom. Tell me about how you don't want to send me out in public because of my face. Tell me about how none of the other kids will want to be my friend, and how none of their parents will want to be yours. Tell me about that, Mom. Tell me how nice it's going to be, you homeschooling me. Jeff, please. I was just stressed. I was just worried about you, that's all. Please, I love you. Mom, I think you should take your own advice. You know, what you told Liu when we got home tonight. We wanted to do something nice to welcome me home. And do you remember what you told us to do instead? Jeff asked, as he now crawled over, cornering his mother on the bed. What did I say? She asked, the question coming out barely a whisper. Go to sleep, Jeff said, and drove the knife into his mother's chest. He stabbed her over and over and over again, and as he did, he finally found that perfect recipe, that heavenly blend, that rage, hate, and pleasure all mixed into one perfect formula, and for a while, Jeff became lost in it all. Jeff opened his brother's bedroom door, not surprised to find his brother asleep. He had dozed off with headphones in, so he slept throughout all the shouting. That was fine with Jeff. It was easier that Lou not have to hear all of that. Jeff sat down on his brother's bed and nudged him slightly. It took a moment, but Lou finally opened his eyes and looked up. Jeff removed his earphones for him. You're free now, Liu. He spoke softly. Jeff, what are you talking about? Liu mumbled, still half asleep. You'll see in the morning. I just wanted to let you know that I love you. You've been my best friend. Remember that, okay? Thanks, I love you too. Now, let me go back to sleep, okay? Leo replied, already dozing off again.
Jeff smiled and stood up. As he left the room, he looked back at his sleeping brother one last time before he vanished into the night.
I'm gonna have a stroke.
Okay.
Finally, it's over!
It's
Yay!
As
How-
much as you want.
Alex,
What?
how long was that recording?
I don't know. Let me.
That was definitely at least way better
least
than
an
the
hour.
original.
That was. It was almost
you
2
don't have to-
hours.
At least you
Almost
really
2
don't have
hours.
to edit anything.
I'll still
That was-
edit some of the beginning because we just
So,
sat
I
there for a
like
bit.
how
Nah, keep it. That's the whole point of a podcast. Don't
Okay.
edit it out.
Okay.
Keep in
I
everything.
like how the begin in the middle. At the end, we're all just silent.
I mean, I kind of stopped.
Fuck.
Yeah,
I'm,
Like,
Alright.
I stopped ADD.
I do have to
Okay.
say that one was, in my opinion, better than the original.
Yeah.
I
well,
thought that was actually kind of good. I mean, I
thought
never
of
read the original, but
Yeah.
Hey,
I
we
thought
can
that
read
was
it right
good.
now.
No,
Let's
no,
not
no,
do that.
I'm going to
Let's
bed.
not do it
I'm
this
gonna go
time.
to sleep. So let's end this stupid fucking podcast episode because the next episode we're reading a children's story.
We can read.
All
some
right,
children's
bye-bye,
stories.
everybody.
Bye.
Wait,
I'm gonna
wait,
kill
wait,
somebody.
wait,
No.
wait.
We'll see you next time in 5 Dumbasses Talk.
What did we decide to call it? The
Yeah.
Dumbass cast?
Hi, everyone.
Dumbasscast. We'll see you next time in the Dumbasscast.
Dumbasscast. Yeah, see you next time on the
Bye,
Dumbasscast.
guys.